I was looking through the hundreds of cards that got released today, and I found one that really caught my eye. Defiler of Vigor. Defiler of Vigor is a 5 mana 6/6 trample Phyrexian worm that basically turns all your green mana into Phyrexian mana. So you can pay 2 life instead of paying the green if you want. And it also has, whenever you cast a green permanent spell, you may put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So to start understanding why Defiler of Vigor is so powerful is to look at Tamiyo's safekeeping. If you have Defiler in play, you can have this spell cost 2 life. So when you play Defiler Vigor, you can already protect him really well with Hexproof and Indestructible. And if you care about losing the life, it gains you 2 life at the end there. So you're not losing any life. So this is crazy because if your Defiler actually survives an extra turn, the amounts of mana he can do are insane. So let's talk about these cards. I think a really strong strategy for this deck is Unnatural Growth. Unnatural Growth costs 4 green, so you can pay it for 8 life and 1 mana. And it also, because whenever you play a permanent spell, your creatures get +1/+1. So your Defiler is going to become a 7/7 with this. And then when you attacks, you're going to 14/14. And if you played other spells, because you've only spent 1 mana on this, you'll get more counters on each creature you control. And then if you play cards like Ulvenwad Oddity, which can cost 4 life and 2 mana, you're getting some crazy damage. But let's say you're a low life turtle, so you can't just spend all your mana. You've been playing aggro, and they've been hitting face. Titan of Industry is crazy, because he can gain you back the 5 life. So basically, if you choose the 5 life, you're paying 4 mana, 1 life, for a 7/7 reach and trample, and then you get to choose between making a 4/4, putting a shield counter on a thing, or destroying target artifact or enchantments. That's crazy tempo. Other cards that are funny are the Ascendant Pack Leader. Ascendant Pack Leader would get really big because you're playing so many big things, and it only costs you 2 life. And if you have the Defiler in play, it'll buff all your creatures. So it's definitely not a bad card, and I definitely run it. Jewel Thief is crazy in this deck because of the trample and also the treasure. So if you play this on turn 3, you can play Defiler on turn 4. And this has trample, so whenever it gets bigger, because whenever a permanent enters the battlefield, Defiler puts a counter and everything, it'll get really big. And then if you run a Natural Growth, it'll get even bigger. So this card is awesome in here. Invoke the Ancients. This is kind of a meme, but you can pay this for 1 mana and 8 life and get 2 4/5s. Renin 6 is fine. 2 mana, you can play for 3 mana. It's nothing crazy, but it works really well from the festival, which does have 3 green, so you can ramp a ton with it. So that could be pretty good. You can also get a bunch of good things. It can get the Defiler of Vigor because that's a 5-drop. It can get Unnatural Growth. It can get Renin 7. It can get Glorious Sunrise, Oddity. There's a ton of good hits on it, and paying it for 3 mana seems really strong. Glorious Sunrise is okay. I just put it in here because you can gain the 3 life, and gaining life in this deck is really important. And it can do a bunch of other things. You can cheat it. We'll have to see how the meta shapes up for this one. If it's all aggro and the mono green can't keep up, this deck might not be strong enough. But even if you don't use the damage ability, the Phyrexian mana ability, you're still getting a 5 mana 6/6 with trample that buffs all your guys whenever a permanent enters the battlefield. Like, you don't need to use it. But if there's a lot of mid-range and control, they don't have all of the Storm Giants anymore, so they can't pressure your life turtle like they used to. So you could play him, and let's say you're not playing against red and they're all tapped out. You can use all of your life for the lethal, for killing them. You can go down to 2 life or 1 life if you're at odds before doing this. And you can just take him out. This is the same for like mono white or any other deck that doesn't have face damage. You can just use all your mana 1 turn and win the game. So yeah, I think this card is completely busted, and it's going to be basically the new Goldspan Dragon, the card that if you see it and you can't deal with it, you're going to lose the game. And they're also similar to Goldspan Dragon because they both have a way to protect themselves